Hello, this is Lindsay Boggs, and this is my Dragon Age level for Game 310. It was designed to incorporate different paths that the player can take, or different critical paths that they can take to achieve their objectives. So, the name of this level is called The Road Not Taken, and as we fire it up, we'll be prompted with some character generation. And we can use anything that's we can use anything that's available within the game. So we have humans, elves, and dwarves, any kind of class, warriors, mages, and rogues. The main consideration the player would need to take into account here is what kind of weapon sets they're going to be playing with, which is going to affect their playstyle. This level allows the player to really play however they like. There's plenty of opportunities for like long-ranged attacks, melee, close combat, guerrilla warfare, like attack and flee, attack and flee. It's a pretty versatile map. So we're just going to go with the standard human male warrior. We'll hit quick play, and for the sake of time, we'll go with easy, but the game does scale things according to its own system, so if we were to click normal, hard, it would just take our data and scale it up a bit. We'll go with easy. So as we come into the map, we have a new quest. We'll hit journal, and it is called The Road Not Taken, and it says, 2 young boys from Orzammar have gone missing. Boric of the Smith caste and Orim, a noble boy, were known to be good friends and have suddenly disappeared. You have spoken with both of their families, who are currently too busy blaming each other to be of much help. You interviewed the noble house staff of Orim's family and searched Boric's bedroom for clues. On the table beside Boric's bed, you found a book about the ancient dwarven taigas and the deep roads. The book was marked on one taig in particular, and you found that Boric wrote in his journal about wanting to explore the taig. Determined that you now know where to find the boys, you have accepted the task of finding them both and bringing them home safely. Both families have individually promised you a substantial reward for the return of their son. So that's what's happened before the players entered this map. These kids are gone, we've conducted an investigation, and now we're here to come and save these kids. So, as we enter this cave, the first thing you'll notice is that it's an infested cave with spiders. So, we'll go ahead and kill them. Quick note, if you've never played this game before, these attacks and abilities down here are customizable within like the character generation. So if we were to go in and not hit quick play, we'd be able to pick things, set like constitution and strength and willpower, and adjust our own stats. This is a container, it's an egg sac. Hang on a second. He'll just sit there for a second. Which is lootable. And this is a random one. So if we were to loot it, we get frozen lightning. Those are random each time the player enters the level, and then there's some, which I've placed, that are designed to grant the player a certainty of getting health and mana potions, etc. to support different play styles. So if they were to play as a mage, for example, we'd be supporting that play style with lyrium potions. As we continue up this way, we're going to come to a crossroads after we defeat these little things. These are deep stalkers. And we have another type of spider here, corrupted spider. All of these enemies can randomly drop loot, and they also have the likelihood of not dropping any loot. That's different each time you play. Alright, so as we can see, these two have not dropped any loot, but this one has, so it has this sparkly effect on it. We got 6 copper. Alright, so here we have 2 different paths that we can take. We can go into this cave right here, or we could go that direction. You'll notice there's lots of lyrium veins planted around here. That's to draw the player's eye, because I found that without that, these colors kind of blended together and it was hard to even see that this was a cave. So that's why these are placed where they are, as a matter of set design. Number one, it's in a dwarven, underground cave. So this is a poisonous type of rock, which is going to come into play a little bit later. But only the dwarves can mine it because they're semi-immune. So it just kind of gives a little bit of homage as to where we are at. If the player was going to go down this cave, it would be a much shorter distance to the end of, well, a somewhat shorter distance to the end of the game. But we will encounter a couple of jump surprises. So this lyrium vein is at the center of a four-way crossroads, and as we approach, this spider will jump out at us that we're unable to see. So if we were to be playing with a playstyle such as like ranged attacks, that would be a surprise versus playing with a sword where we can just smash them. But on the other side, on the other path that we didn't take over there, we would be able to see our enemies from a greater distance. So there's a little bit of variant in those paths that we can take. This is a chest here that I've placed that has a lesser health poultice, lesser injury kit, lyrium potion, and venom. Those are more useful if you've like selected the normal setting. But since we're going with easy, we're really not going to need those too much. We have some loot. Just some egg sacs in there. Another jump scare, as I warned you ahead of time. We have a poisonous spider and a deep stalker. Right then. And these stalactites and everything else also help to break up color a little bit so that these walls and floors and everything don't blend together so much. This is where we would exit this cave, but I'm not going to go out there. I'm actually going to go back the way we came and take that other path so I can show you what that would have looked like if we'd gone the opposite direction. And you can see it's much more open. I am going to switch weapon sets to show that we can use this, and I can see this guy over there. Oops, oops, oops. There we are. And we have another new type of spider. Oh no, we encountered the giant spiders in the cave. So the giant spider would either be introduced, switch weapon sets back, inside of the tunnel, I should say, and on this corner is where they're introduced to the giant spider. Switch back. There's another loot box here. Egg sac. Oh look, we did get a health poultice. Grab this one too. Lesser injury kit. Okay, so we are getting some pretty good loot in here. This playthrough. Alright. He has some interesting catchphrases. Alright then. So, here we come around through this passageway, and that's where we would have come out of the cave. Right there. So same thing with this entrance to that tunnel, I should say. We have lyrium planted around it. So people can kind of see depth perception. That's why we have something way back in there. Because without that, these colors blended together a bit much. So, as we continue on, alright. Oh, look at that. Okay, we got some more cool stuff. Quick show of the inventory. This is where we're storing all of our things. And then I wanted to note about the spiders and their rank setting for how difficult they are to overcome, because we were somewhat ambushed here. But I have them set to critter, which is one of the lower ranks, but I've been placing them in a way that they kind of come in waves. Very rarely does a spider approach you by itself. So there's strength in numbers, and that's why I've lowered their rank, because their strength comes from the wave of the other enemies that they are encountered with, not just from themselves. Alright. And this is the entrance to the Tig. This ancient abandoned dwarven civilization, in case anybody hasn't played the game. So here's where the boys are supposed to be, but they are not here. So we're supposed to be looking for clues. Unfortunately, Dragon Age toolset was released in 2008 or 2009, and it required the active Python version 2.5.4.4, I think, which is, well, I couldn't find it on the internet. If you can find it, that would be wonderful. But without that version of Python, you can't render light maps, which was something I had meant to disclose at the beginning of this video. So, any interesting lighting, especially things that are applied to the level, I'm going to blame it on Python, but that's what we're at. So this half-eaten bread is somewhat darker than it appeared in the editor, but that's because of the light maps. So that's a clue here, as this place is clearly abandoned. There's no signs of life, it's covered in cobwebs. We continue to look for clues for these kids. And there's something suspicious over here. We have footprints. And if we follow footprints up, there's a chest here. This is the armor chest. So at the end of the level, there's going to be a boss fight. And I wanted to make sure that the player, especially playing in normal and hard mode, would be well equipped to face this boss. So I've equipped it with some, I want to say, local armor and things that might be found in this area. So we can go ahead and just loot that. And there's also going to be a weapons chest as well. Up here. To make sure that they're well prepared for their boss fight. More footprints. So we gotta be getting closer to these kids. We also have barrels, by the way, inside of the Tig, and the barrels are all random. But they only give generic dwarven rewards. So you can set also what kind of rewards you want to come from random things. You can set the category type as well as the quality of the loot that appears. This, before we go too far, there's one last clue right here, which is Orm's knife. We hover over it very carefully. Or his dagger. There. So that's the last clue as to where these kids have gone. This cave looks substantially different than the rest of the cave that we've just come from, and I wanted to design it that way so that there was a significant change in the area. This is like part 2, if you will, of this level, and I wanted the player to understand that there's going to be something quite different coming up and that they are progressing towards their goal as they see changes. We have a deep stalker, 2 deep stalkers, and a corrupted spider to defeat quickly. We are level 1, by the way. So that's why we miss so badly. Alright, so this is the important image of this level. We're here looking for kids, and we see a blood trail going that way. Because of the lighting, it's a little bit difficult to see, but there is a trail of coins leading this direction. So there's a coin there, coin there, coin there. They were shinier in the editor. Coin there. So we have a choice to make. We can follow the trail of blood, or we can follow this coin path over here. So I think I would follow the trail of blood. I found that, so that's where I'm going to go. And here we found one of them. This is Orym. He is not dead. He is wounded. If you wait a moment, he'll lift. There he goes. He's just kind of chilling. So if we click on him, he says, "Who's there?" And we say, "Help has arrived from the Grey Wardens." A Grey Warden, thank the stone. Because that's the things that dwarves say. We have some dialogue choices. We can ask him who he is. We can assume that he's one of the boys that we're looking for. We can just ask what happened to him, because clearly he's been injured. It doesn't really matter which one of these choices you ask or pick at first. He's still going to explain to us what happened. So he says, "My name is Orym. I came here with my friend Boric. We wanted to explore the Tig, and then we went further into the deep roads. Boric fell, and he's hurt badly. He cut his leg on a shard of lyrium. If he doesn't get help soon, the poison will kill him. I was on my way to get help. I marked my path with coins so I can find Boric again. Aha! So now we know where the coins came from. Then I was attacked by a monster. I managed to fight it off, but I can't go any farther. You have to leave me here. I'll be okay. You have to find Boric and bring him back to Orzammar." Now we have some choices. You can either say, "Yes, I'll go save your friend and I'll come back for you." In other words, sit tight. I'll go check it out. Or you can say, "No, your wounds are too severe. I have to save you, like, ASAP. I have to save you first." Or you have the option to lie to him and tell him that Boric is already dead. So, I would like to introduce you to Boric. So I'm going to say, "We'll go save your friend. I'll come back for you." He says, "Thank you, Warden. May the ancestors guide your steps." More dwarven flavor here. And he falls back down. He was supposed to stay down. So it's his quest updated here. We can hit our journal. And it says, "You found Orym badly wounded in a cave in the deep roads, north of the Tig. He is bleeding profusely and needs to see a doctor as soon as possible if he is to survive. However, he begs you to leave him where he is so you can save his friend Boric." And that's what we're going to do. And as he just told us, he left a trail of coins for us to follow. So we will do that. Now you can see these coins a little bit better in this lighting if I don't just run by them. Alright, there he is. He says, "Oh, I can't feel my leg anymore. Did Orym send you? Where is he?" Now, this dialogue option does not appear if you go to Boric first, where it says, "Yes, Orym sent me to look for you, but he's hurt too." Or, "No, I haven't seen him. I was sent to look for both of you." Which is, this point, is a lie. We'll go ahead and tell him the truth. Orym is also hurt. "Thank the ancestors you've come. What happened to Orym?" "He was attacked by a monster when he went to find help." We could lie to him and tell him that Orym is dead. Or we can say, "He'll be okay. He was more worried about you." So, we'll go ahead and tell him that. He says, "No, I'm not leaving until you save him first. I don't care what he told you." In other words, if he's not with you, you better go save him. And he says, "But he said he won't come unless I save you first." He says, "What? No, go back to him. Make him go with you and tell him I said he's a fool." Now we have these options. We need to get you some help and I'll come back for him. So I'll come back for Orym, but I need to take you back to Orzammar. Or, okay, if that's what you really want, I'll come back for you. So, we will come back for him and go back and talk to Orym, because I'd like to show you another dialogue option that has now appeared. Each of those dialogue trees will only appear once, so we only get to meet them. Oh, I should show you the journal. It says, you found Bork, the Smith boy. He has fallen and cut his leg on a shard of lyrium. Though it only looks like a scrape, he seems to be badly poisoned. He needs to get to a physician in Orzammar quickly if he is going to recover. Despite this, Bork begs you to leave him where he is so you can rescue Orym first. These boys. Anyway, they will only act as if they've met you, or as if they haven't met you once, so that the next time you go, they're not going to ask, who are you again? Or did Orym send you, in Bork's case. Now they're going to ask for an update. So, if we talk to Orym, he says, did you find Bork? Is he alright? We can lie and tell him that he's dead. We can say, Bork won't let me take him until he knows that you're safe. And this is the one that would not have appeared, or didn't appear, rather, beforehand. And then, no, I haven't found him yet. So we'll tell him the truth. Bork says we need to save you. He says the same thing. Go back to him and say that I said he's a fool. So, it looks like we're going to have to make a decision between these two boys. We either have Orym, this guy right here, who is noble, as you can tell by his armor and everything that I've equipped him with. Oh, yes, I should show you all of that as well. So, there is no dwarf child model in the Dragon Age toolset. So what I did was I made a custom head for both him and for Bork, and gave them no facial hair, and I blended their skin tones with more feminine features, like some of the female ones, and enlarged their eyes a bit, and I shrank I slimmed down their neck and their cheeks to make them look more young, I suppose. But that was my workaround to not having a child model, because these are both supposed to be kids. So that was a bit of a side note. But anyway, we have to pick one of them to save. And we can go ahead and pick... We'll go save Bork. We'll go for the middle class guy. So we'll say, sorry. Or, not sorry. Yes, we'll go save your friend. He says, thank you, please hurry. And we'll go talk to Bork, and then I can show you his face, and then it'll be good. Same thing here. It's turning into a bit of a game of telephone. Alright, Bork. So, you can see it is in his face as well. It's slimmed down a bit. It's blended a little bit differently. Has a different shade, though, than Orym's. Different nasal and lip features. Eye color. But still, as childlike as I could get it. And so, we could take him. We could also lie to him and tell him that Orym is dead. At the end of, like, the whole end of the level, if you've entertained Bork's thought or his desire to save Orym, but still end up saving Bork, he may join your party as a actual party member for the game. But if you lied to him, or if you just bluntly said, no, I'm not going to go save your friend at all because I'm saving you, then he would not accept your invitation. So we won't lie to him, but we'll just say the truth, which is that Orym wants us to save him first. And it's like, no, at this point, we need to pick you. And he says, okay, he better live or I'll never forgive you. But we entertained your thought, so yes, you will. Now, we have an updated thing, which I'll show you in a moment. At this point, he would have joined our party momentarily and followed us back to Orzammar. I wanted to have a quick travel, but there was problems with scripting. So I have a little workaround just for the display of this level. As we come back into this crossroads, I've placed a secret door right here. This is Return to Orzammar, and this is where we would click if we were to save Bork, which we just did. So we'll go back to Orzammar as if we've taken him there. He needs to lie down like he's healing and is unconscious, and there he is. And here we have like his bedside table and the journal and the Tig history books that were announced from earlier. Disclaimer, this room is not something that I set design. The only thing I added to this room is Bork, the table, and his 2 books. This room came standard with the tool set. So, just not taking credit for this room, just this part right here. Anyway, he's healing, he's safe, and now we need to continue to go save Orym, which, if we looked at our journal entry, faced with a difficult choice, you decided that Boric needed to be saved first because of the dangers of the poison coursing through his blood. You've taken him back to Orzammar where he was cared for in time. The doctors say he will recover. As you promised, you have returned to the Deep Roads to save Orym. So, that's where we're headed. And here we are. I've placed this level to begin at this cave. So we're at the top of the Tig, where we were before. There's his knife, just for reference. But we don't have to go through all of the spiders and all of the walking. That's unnecessary. We just need to go save Orym. So here we go. Saving the kid that we put on hold. It was what he asked. He asked us to go save his friend first, and that's what we did. But here we come to the place where we've already been. And there's his blood trail from before. But there's fresh blood here. So something has clearly happened in our absence. And just to prove that point, we go down the path where we knew that Orym was. He's no longer there. So we have no other choice but to follow our instincts and follow this blood trail. See where it leads. Alright. So here we go into our boss fight. I've placed one last chest here, and that's in case, once again, the player has picked normal or hard, or I think nightmare or something is the worst one you can pick. To make sure that they have a little bit of something extra, but as we're playing on easy, we really shouldn't be hindered that much. As we come in here, there is poor Orym, and this dragonling that we must fight. Set design, note, there is, like, dwarven / human bones everywhere. And we must recover Orym's corpse and defeat this. I also placed ballistas in this level. So, the player could lure this dragonling to stand in front of the ballista. Ideally, you'd have more people in your party, but you can shoot him. See, there he is taking damage. And there's another ballista on the other side of the room there. But it's just one alternate choice to just hacking and slashing. It's a safer option here. Let's go ahead and blast him to death. Or we could actually go kill it. Alright. So, he even gave us some loot. 26 coppers. And we also have some dragon treasure here to have some bonus of. So, some silk items, fancy dining ware, some precious stones, and some more precious stones, as you would expect to find in a dragon's lair. And there is poor Orym, very dead. Very much, that's where he shall stay. So that's the end of the level. We've rescued one boy. The family will reward us a substantial reward. So we rescued Boric the Smith. So our reward would be some armor, lesser gold than we would have had we rescued the noble. But we also gain the opportunity, if we didn't lie to him, to gain Boric as a party member. I will go ahead and show you that Orym is also an availability to win over. but I'm going to go ahead and not play through the entire level. So if I just make a quick edit here, go into Manage Modules, Properties, and we will go to I suppose we'll go to main. Main is fine. We just need to move the waypoint because I want to talk to him before we get too far down here. Alright. So we will have to fight those little 1 spider and 2 dragonlings again, but that'll be okay. Go ahead and save. Export quickly. And hit play. No judging. My Steam games. Okay. Campaigns, roads not taken. And we will start right next to Orym, because that's where I moved the waypoint. Alright, here we are. And you are dead. Not dead. You are wounded. So we can go ahead and talk to him. And we can say, yes, help has arrived. Ask him what happened. He'll tell us exactly what he told us before. And then we're going to go ahead and lie to him, just to show that sometimes lying is a quicker choice than running back and forth. He says Borek is dead, but he was my best friend. And we can say, I know it's hard, but we need to get you back to Orzammar. Or this is what happens when kids go exploring alone. Or there's nothing we can do now and your parents are worried. So we can tell him that. He says, our parents, oh no, because they're the people who are bickering and fighting back home at the moment. What am I going to tell them? I guess you're right. There's nothing we can do about it now. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Well, actually, you can lay there. But I do have another secret door. Oh, update on the quest, by the way. Faced with a difficult choice, you decided that Orym needed to be saved first because of the dangers of blood loss. You've taken him back to Orzammar, which we're going to do right now. Where he was cared for in time, doctors say he'll recover. As promised, you've returned the Deep Roads to save Borek. But like I'd said, there was a scripting issue, and that's why we have to do this workaround. But there is, oh yes, we can't enter a door while in combat, and I have to kill these guys quick. That's the reason why we're doing these little secret doors transitions rather than fast traveling and getting to where we need to go. Alright. Am I still in combat? I am. Not in combat. Okay. Secret door. To where we've taken Orym now back and rescued him. He should be recovering. Lay down. Thank you. And, once again, this room came standard with the tool set. So the only thing I added to this room was Orym plus the door that we exit from. So this part is not mine. Not taking credit for that. Okay. Return to the Tig. Yes. Okay. So now we are outside the cave where we were before when we rescued Borek, but this is the alternate path. We've already killed off these little creatures that were in here. But now we're going to go save Borek, since we saved Orym, and now the belief is that we're going to come back for Borek. But as we know from our first playthrough, that is not a likely outcome. And here's this fresh blood trail that wasn't there before, leading from Borek's position. So something's happened to him in our absence. And we go ahead and come through here. Once again, this chest is here in case we needed anything on a harder difficulty. And here's our boss fight with the updated cutscene to show Boric rather than Aurum. And our Dragon Link character. So, we won't bother with the fighting again because you've already seen that, but that is the multiple pathways for this quest. The different characters that you can choose, different choices you can make within the game, different paths that you can choose throughout the level, either going through the tunnels or through the open cave. And that's what really gives variety to this level. Thank you for watching.